What's going on, guys? This is Xavier from Focus Athletes. Today I'll be sharing with you a video tutorial of how to count your calories. So this will help your fitness and weight loss goals. So I'll make it as simple to follow as possible. So after this video, you can actually execute right away to count your own calories. So by the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you the top 7 questions that you might have that might help you to clear some of your doubts. Okay, to start off first, right, we'll be using 2 applications later. So one is MyFitnessPal. So this is what MyFitnessPal look like. So you can actually input your calories of what you have eaten the day inside. So inside these apps, right, you can also see like how many steps you have actually walked per day, or the exercise you want to track, or your weights. So this is very helpful. And then this MyFitnessPal, right, has been over for many years, so I've been using it as well. So you can use a free version or premium version. So I will be explaining later that what is the differences, so you can choose. So if you want to track your calories, just use the free version, it will be fine. Okay, so the next one, right, the application we have to use is called the TDEE calculator. So you can just head to your browser, go into this website, right? So what this TDEE calculator do is it will measure your total daily energy expenditure for the day. You can just input your stats to this calculator, right? And then what is the activities that you actually usually do during the weeks. So be it you are actually doing sanitary jobs, or you're actually walking around, you're having moderate exercise, or you're an athlete, right? So later on it will tell you that how many calories you are actually maintaining, or how much you should eat during the day. So with this information, right, then we can head to the MyFitnessPal later to know how much calories we will burn. So it will be very accurate. Okay, step 1. So you can follow along with me. So just go to this tdecalculator.net first. So just input your information. Just for example, let's say I will just put some of the information here. Okay, you enter your age, your weights, and let's say your height. So I'll just leave it as a sanitary job here. So just press calculate. Okay, during this page, right, so it will tell you what is my current stats. So what you'll see over here, the information is actually your maintenance calories. So what maintenance calories actually means that you shouldn't be eating over these calories. If let's say I'm not working out today, right? Based on the sanitary calories, which is 2145. So when I'm not exercising, I shouldn't be eating over 2145. If I'm overeating these calories, right, means I will gain fats. Okay, so you must keep in mind of your stats over here. So if let's say on the day I'm actually working out, so let's say my workout duration normally is about 2 to 3 hours. So I'll input myself as moderate exercise first, so which is 2771. So during the MyFitnessPal, right, I shouldn't be eating over these 2771 calories. So if I want to lose weight, okay, so that means I can actually eat about maybe 2005 calories for the day. So if I'm eating about 2005 and I'm burning 2007 calories, right, means I'm actually losing weight that day, which is an effective working out session. Okay, so if let's say your goal is to actually bulk, right, you should actually eat more than what is the data shown here, instead of what is eating lesser. So majority of the people, they does not know what is their own maintenance calories, so they are based on their own feelings, right? So that's why when they actually doesn't track their own calories, they will normally overeating themselves, because as long as they feel hunger, right, then they will just buy some food or snacks, and then they will just binge eating. Okay, now after knowing your maintenance calories, right, now it's time to actually log into our food to the MyFitnessPal. So let's say today is my workout day, right? So I cannot, let's say I'm on cutting. So my maintenance calories is 2771 for instance. So if I'm cutting, I cannot be eating over 2771. So normally I will just leave about 300 calories and remaining and not exceeding this amount. So let's say today is the start of the day, right? So I will show you what I will do. So first of all, you just click the plus button at the bottom. So for the paid version, right, you can actually use the barcode scan if let's say you consume any snacks that you bought outside, right? Because you don't want to manually key in those micronutrients. So this is the use of the barcode scan, so it's convenient. So another one is the meal scan, right? So I don't really recommend meal scan. The reason is because, right, because when you meal scan something, right, the food, some of the food may be hidden underneath the what you have taken in the photo, so it may not be very accurate unless you really want to spread out all this food and then you just do a meal scan. So I find that's not too practical. So normally I'll just like for example, I'll just log in the food. So you can select breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. So let's say I'm consuming my lunch now, so you can just click in lunch first. So over here, right, you can see a list of history that you have entered previously. So it's very convenient if let's say you are actually eating the same thing. So for instance, my lunch, I will just consume the white rice cooked 200 gram, right? I'll just click plus. So it will just log into the food. And then for beef, right? If let's say today you consume 200 grams of beef, then you can just go in and key in the 200 grams. Okay, serving size, I will always leave it as per gram because nowadays the food is always calculated as gram base. Okay, so it's also easy for me to change any numbers. So let's say this is 200 grams, so it's 200, and then let's click a tick. Okay, so this is for my lunch, for example. So if you are eating other food, then you can just key in a plus. Okay, so for instance, right, if let's say you are eating outside, it's very hard for you to estimate what is the food that you consume, right? You can just roughly key in by your knowledge. For example, let's say I go out and order some mixed rice, right? So it contains like fish, right? So let's say it's a fried fish, so I need to key in fried fish instead of fish. Okay, because fried fish and normal fish is different. Okay, so you just key in fried fish and type in search. Okay, over here, then you can find the most relevant one for you. So example, for I will choose the fried fish fillet, right? I go in, I need to edit as per gram. Okay, so let's say the fish is not too big, it's quite small, right? Then I'll just key in maybe like 80 grams. Okay, so this is how you estimate. So what I do, right, over this, right, I normally don't key in vegetable or like blueberries kind of food, right? The reason is because they contains too little calories. So for example, they are like less than 10 calories. So I find that it's quite a hassle for me to key in those vegetables. So I'll just keep the vegetable unless it's like fruits. Banana, right? One banana is contain 105 calories. So for banana, I'll just key in. Okay, so you must differentiate between vegetable and actually these fruits. Okay, fruits you must key in. Okay, so that's for now. Then you just go back to the main page. So over at the main page, right, after you key in your lunch, then you will be able to see how many remaining calories that you should be consuming. So if you are on a cut, you shouldn't be more than what is shown here. And then on the right hand side, right, you can actually see your protein intake. If let's say you are unable to see this because you probably have a free version. So on the premium version, you can actually see here. The paid version is able to see as well, but you actually have to manually go inside the apps to actually go into the micronutrients here to actually see your overall protein intake, whether is it sufficient for the day or not. You're actually going to train to be more stronger and leaner. So protein is the number one. So over here, right, you can also see your weight loss. Okay, if you are planning to actually reduce your weight, you should actually key in every day so you can see your weights over the time. Okay, that's all for how to track the calories and how much you should eat per day. So let's go to some of the viewers' questions. So the first question is, how do I know how many calories I should eat to get lean? So okay, so when you go back to the MyFitnessPal, right, if you want to, your goal is to get lean, right, you should always prioritize on the protein. So as mentioned earlier, right, it's recommend to take 1.8 grams per kg of body weight of protein. So you can key in your details over here and you make sure that every single day, be it you work out or you didn't work out, right, you must hit your protein intake. And most importantly, right, is your intensity of your workouts. So if let's say you tell me that you actually work out 1 to 2 days per week, right? It's actually not so intense, it's not sufficient to get lean. To get lean, you need to work out at least 4 days per week or 5 days. So you also need to have enough rest for recovery. So if that's the issue, right, you should actually change your workout plans. So you should actually work out more during the weeks. Next, do I have to track every single day? What if I miss one day? So if let's say you have been tracking for 6 days, right? Then it's okay if you miss one day because normally all the 7 days you cannot be like every day is calories deficit, right? So it's also not very practical. So I will just leave one day for the cheat day. So for cheat day is quite reasonable and healthy because if you look into the bodybuilding world or something, they always leave one day as a cheat day because when you when the whole week you actually desire for some food, right? And you leave this day without counting calories, you are actually eating the food you want. You're actually reducing your cortisol level, which is the stress level. So in some way it's still healthy. Okay. So if you didn't track for one single day and you miss the day, then uh, it's okay. So you don't need to stress about it. Okay, the next question. What's more important, calories or macros? Actually, both are equally important, as I would say. Because if let's say you actually eat more calories, right, you actually gain more weight. You eat lesser, but you didn't care about the macros, right, you actually will reduce weight. Why macros is important? For example, if you didn't eat enough carbohydrates, you don't get enough energy for workouts. So likewise, if let's say you didn't get enough protein and then you actually looking at the calories and you work so hard, right? Your body doesn't have enough resources to actually build muscle. So macro is important too. Okay, the next question. Do I need a food scale to track accurately? The answer is yes. If let's say you are actually targeting to have a weight loss, like for example, within 3 months you want to lose how much weight or get lean, right? You need to be as accurate to your food as much as possible. So I would not recommend you to eat outside. So as much as possible, you can try to cook at home because you can actually weight your food. So this is what I will do. So because if let's say the goals is so important to you, right? You want to control as much controllables as you can. So try not to eat outside if let's say because this will just like distant away from your goals because it's actually too hard to measure if you keep eating outside. Okay, the fifth question. What if the food I eat isn't in the MyFitnessPal database? Yes, so even though the MyFitnessPal has been in the App Store or in the market for many years, they still continuously to update their food. So maybe the particular food that you want to consume is not inside, right? For example, let's say you search for this peanut butter waffles, right? So it may not be the one that you purchase, but you can estimate how much calories it has. If not, right, you can just overly estimate. So for example, maybe I think the calories is not 260, is maybe about 500 plus. I'll just key in the 500 plus calories as my food intake, so to be safe. Okay, the sixth question. Can I still eat out or have a cheap meal and stay lean? Okay, so as discussed earlier, right? So if you are having a weight loss goal, you should cut off as much cheat meal as possible. So you have to be very precise on your food for these time beings because if you want to get a good physique, right, the first criteria is you need to have discipline then your why must be very strong, that like why you want to get lean, because the journey is quite long, right? If let's say the first month you can be very motivated, and then the subsequent month the motivation may be getting less and lesser, and you keep asking yourself why you want to do it, and why are you suffering this much. So you have to know what is the reason for you to actually persist. Okay, the next question. Okay, the last question. Is MyFitnessPal accurate, or do I need to double check entries? Okay, so for the data itself, is actually, you can take it as a pinch of salt. So if let's say you have been having calories deficit for the whole week, right, but you didn't see any differences in your weight loss, so I suggest that for the data that you input, right, you minus 100 calories for each and every day. Because you minus 100, right, that means the previous month you have actually overestimated yourself of the data entry. So now the next week, right, you minus 100 for all, right, then it should be more accurate. The most accurate is when you see a significant weight loss, right, then you know that the calories that you inputted is correct. Then you don't have to minus 100 calories for this app already. Okay, that's all for this video. Hope you find it helpful. So many people may still feel like it's a hassle to actually log in your food or tracking your food through the apps. So I feel myself too, because if let's say every single food you have to log in, right, it's quite a hassle. But just think about it, because if let's say over a period of time, right, you doesn't see any weight change, or you aren't getting leaner, because based on what you feel you should eat, right, you should actually start to try to log into your food to this app. Because when you're more precise and more serious about how much intake that your body needs, right, then you will start to see a good change. So you just try to log in over a week, see whether your weight did drops. So if it drops, right, then instead of based on your feeling, you should base on science. So I hope this will help you to give you some insights of it. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.